About a year ago, someone mentioned to me about all these scenario end of the system movies that are coming out. There's about a dozen disaster movies. They all had in it the infertility of males. Everyone went sterile for some reason. One of them said it was a virus that was released, and everyone just went sterile. And it's always the same scenario where there's a world of authoritarian government, very vague. Everybody's living in rubble and squalor, the masses. But there's always this high corporation, world corporation, living in luxury, but way apart from the people, and they have all these black-clad goons with all the armor plating and the big guns to keep everything working and going along. That's not coincidence. Neither are all these pandemic movies that get churned out one after another, telling you how to behave and respond, and this is what's going to happen, and so on. That's not coincidence. We understand that the whole entertainment system was always used for political purposes. Always. You know, there were operas written in the late 1700s and the early 1800s. They were banned in some countries because it was all about Masonic revolution. Well documented, not conspiracy theory, as boasted about by countries like France and so on. I'll be back with more after this break. Hi folks, I'm Alan Watt. We're cutting through the matrix, and I think we'll just get time to take a caller. There's Ron from Texas there. Are you there, Ron?
Hello, Alan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. Hey, Alan, I have a question. I'm wondering, first of all, thank you very much for all the great work you do. I follow you every night, listen to you every night, and I've read your book, and you're just absolutely fantastic. My question is, what is the real role of North Korea in the world? Are they just a puppet for the United States or for the New World Order? It seems like every time something's going on, North Korea is launching missiles, North Korea is doing this, doing that, trying to scare everybody. And I've also read that I think his effeminate son and his masculine son are that they make huge salaries from the CIA. They live in Europe, and I'm just curious, what's really going on in North Korea?
Well, once again, they must try and validate the entire world's ongoing war. It's like Orwell said, the war is not intended to be won, it's intended to be ongoing. It's constant revolution worldwide, and wars really can be a front, really, for revolution, and to justify armaments, etc., and military might and all that kind of stuff. But you're right, they could have taken that out long ago. There's no problem about that. But what you do have, curiously enough, are the 5 countries that haven't joined, that are not under the International Monetary Fund or the World Bank. They don't have central banks. Afghanistan was one, Iraq was another, Iran is another, North Korea is another. There's only 5 of them altogether left. And these are the countries that are all under the gun right now until they're standardized into the world system. That's really what's really going on. But I've no doubt at all that North Korea has been used when necessary to do saber-rattling and all this kind of stuff. It's the same with China. Once in a blue moon, when they have no enemies to point to and they must justify the military might and the sort of authoritarian system that's coming in, they get China to rattle the sabers, etc. But China was built up by the West. If the big banks in the West decide to flatten China, they'll do the same thing there if they wish to. Everyone at the top in China is bought and paid for. And it's the same thing with North Korea.
Right. Well, just to go on to a sort of a different subject, I also read today in Peru, where I've actually visited a number of times. They actually have gone after. It sounds almost identical to what goes on in my country, the United States, right now, after the indigenous people, and just actually attacked them and killed hundreds of them for demonstrating. And is this going on now? Is this every country now? We're just going to see this going on, not just in the United States, but in every country now. We have this, whatever.
It's complete authoritarianism. You can't criticize government now. You're called anti-government, and just with any policy at all, they'll call you anti-government and radical, etc. But in those other countries where they can get away with it, they're simply eliminating any problems To them at the top, honestly, they see it as very pragmatic, utilitarian, just get rid of them. And they do it. And this is the world they are bringing in, but they're also cleansing an awful lot of Latin America because they chose during the free trade negotiations that many of those countries would be run on bare minimum population, so drastic population reduction, but they also have been setting up some countries already since the 80s under the free trade, that's the precursor of NAFTA, to be a breadbasket. Chile is one of the big ones with Monsanto, Archer Daniels, Midlands, and all the other big boys to produce the veggies. They're going to grow nothing eventually in the U.S.
What about Chavez in Venezuela? Do you think that he's still is he still part of the same scheme? I'm
sure he's in on it. There's no doubt. Yeah, just like Fidel was. Yeah. But that's the end of the show coming. I hear the music. So from Hamish and myself, Hamish is my fantastic dog. In Ontario, Canada, it's good night to me. Your God or your gods go with you.